Welcome back to Pushing Pause. I'm Marissa.
And I'm Stacy.
So let's recap our week, what we had going on this week. So my family celebrated Christmas with my dad's side of the family. It's a family tradition that we do every year. And we meet up at a restaurant, exchange gifts, eat dinner, have fun. We always have so much fun together, but...
How many people were at the dinner?
It's my family and my dad and mom. And then it's my Aunt Joni and my Aunt Jerry and their families. My Uncle Jay and his family, my grandma, and my Uncle Joel. So there's like 18 of us.
So fun.
Yeah. And we all get together, eat, and be merry.
And talk.
Yes. But so we went to this place in Portsmouth, Ohio called the Scioto Ribber, where it's like smoked steaks and smoked pork. Rib. Like,
yeah. Love it.
And
no pun intended.
It is the most amazing food. Oh my gosh. You guys have to check it out if you're ever near Portsmouth, or if you want to just drive to Portsmouth. And
what's the drive?
It's about hour 45 from Columbus.
Oh, that's not bad.
So it's not terrible.
No.
And I mean, it is the best steak. I'm huge. So they have a small size, large size. Small size is a 16-ounce steak.
That's a small?
That's a small.
Oh, okay.
The large is 32 ounces.
How many cows do they slaughter in like a week?
I don't know. And then they also have pork ribs, which are enormous.
I
so
love
good.
Pork ribs.
So we did that this last weekend. This week was Christmas Spirit Week at school. So we had to do like all the things.
Yeah.
Which is fun for the kids.
Do they get extra credit for participating or no?
No, but it's just like a fun thing.
Yeah.
Beckett wears a uniform to school, so it's nice to be able to like switch it up.
Yeah. So Avery had it too, but in middle school you actually get extra credit if you participate.
That's good because as they get older, they're like, that's not cool.
Although pajama day, clearly, I mean, those kids wear pajamas. Like I can't stand it.
Yeah,
we already know this.
So Beckett had pajama day last Friday, and it was like his favorite.
It's
thing
a big deal.
Yeah, it was huge. So they had Spirit Week. We did all the things. Today is their last day before break, so they get out early. They're having a party.
Yeah, everybody needs to say a prayer for parents.
Yes,
we're praying for you, parents, and
I'm just so excited that there's not going to be any homework because homework is a lot. There's a lot of homework.
There's been a lot of tests this week for us, and I love breaks. I really do. Like, I'm going to sound like a terrible mom, but at the same time, I'm like, wait, I got to entertain. Like, now I'm on. Now I'm on all day, every day, and I got to entertain. I like it for the first, like, couple days, and then after that, I'm like, okay, break can actually be over now. Yeah. Like, I'm good. Like, school, we can get back in session. Like, after day 3 for me.
Right.
Most parents love it.
Because then they're bored But they will have Christmas coming up, so that'll be good.
And then New Year's and all, and then they're back to school right after that. So it will go fast, I think.
I got a tattoo this Wednesday with one of my favorite people. His name's Chris Barton.
It looks so good, by the way.
I'll post a picture of it, but it was like I am finishing off a piece that we started in the spring, and it was in regards to like Disney's Robin Hood, so that's kind of like the theme of it.
Here's a side note about Marissa. I feel like she gets a new tattoo. I can't wait for you guys to actually watch our YouTube because then you'll see her. Like, she has sleeves, like she's working on her legs now. Like, she has beautiful, beautiful tattoos. But she's always like, okay, so I'm going to get a tattoo next week. I'm like, wait, you just got one. She's like, yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, you're getting another one. I love
plan it out. So like it was funny because when I went to Chris, he works at Good Things Tattoo in Clintonville. They have the greatest group of guys there. Andy, Ian,
and that's
Alex.
Where you and Justin normally go.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
That's our favorite place, favorite spot. It's so relaxing. You feel so comfortable there. It's just, the guys are amazing. Amazing group of guys there. And so I've been working with Chris. I've been tattooed by Andy and Ian also, but I've been working with Chris. So we finished that piece. I set up another piece
while you were there.
While I was there.
Of course you did.
Because I'm going to start working on a chest piece with him. And then I showed him some other ideas that I have.
But I love it that they all are fun and very meaningful to you. Like,
yes, all of them have meaning. But it's funny because, you know, as the listeners know, and as you know, I'm a list maker. So like I have a list of tattoos that I want to eventually get. So I just kind of mark things off my list as I get them planned. But yeah, it's fun.
She's a tattoo checklist.
Yeah, exactly. Have you started wrapping presents? You probably have.
I did it this week. And,
I knew it.
And here's what I found though, is Avery, my 12-year-old, super easy to buy for. She wants clothes, face products, makeup. Girly stuff. Super easy. Willow wants toys, which at this given moment in my life, I loathe toys. Like, I don't want them. I don't want any more toys.
And why don't you want them?
They just are cluttery, and I just want my house to be organized. And they're not aesthetically pleasing, just to be
it's hard
honest.
To decorate around toys.
Then there's Kingston, who is so, like, just laid back.
It's like whatever you get me, I love it.
But he has barely anything. Like, literally, the girls' piles are off the charts, and then there's his pile, and it's so small. Mind you, he loves fishing. Like, he actually started a little YouTube fishing thing. Like, he loves it. He's like obsessed with it. He's super interested in it. And
we're recording with the dog, so you'll hear the little doggy barky.
And so somebody actually gave him a boat, a little John boat, and so he asked for things for that. Like, he asked for a motor and seats for it and stuff like that.
So like bigger items.
His gifts are bigger.
Yeah.
But it was funny wrapping. I mean, like,
he won't even notice because he'll just be so excited that he got a motor and everything for fishing. And
so it doesn't look even at all, but it'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about that because I have one kid. So he's just going to see a pile and then it's like.
And he's going to be super excited about it. Yes.
So yeah, I have not started wrapping yet. Well, here's the thing. Like, I have some things to wrap for him, but like I'm a bag girl. I do like to wrap. I'm just not good at wrapping. And so it makes me like.
Well, and things are like weird
shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'll wrap some stuff just because I love watching unwrapping and stuff. But my brother and sister-in-law are flying in for Christmas with my two nieces that I can't wait to see. And so I got them like they're 2 and newborn.
A newborn. Yeah, literally.
So I got some stuff. Some toys, but like the big toy I already sent because they live in Miami, and my niece JoJo, her birthday's in December, so like I already sent like the big thing, so I don't really have a lot of unwrapping to do.
So did they FaceTime you to kind of like have her? I guess she really didn't unwrap it really because it was a big item.
Yeah, she didn't unwrap it, but like my brother put it together. They FaceTimed. They recorded videos.
It was a plate.
It was a kitchen.
That's
I got
her
a kitchen, and she's like all about it.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah,
she's so cute. Oh my gosh.
And what's great is Rose will have that too. The newborn,
and
like,
they'll be able to play. It'll be passed down. Yeah, for sure. And it's like universal color. Anybody can use it.
Yes, a kitchen set is really fun for kids.
Yeah,
they love it.
And they can pretend, and it kind of keeps them busy. So. That's what I had going on this week.
Well, we did our parents' night out.
Yes.
Which was so fun.
So fun.
Full disclosure. Now, it was late when I fell asleep. Yeah. But I fell asleep.
Like Stacey fell asleep.
Yeah. And they were making faces and taking pictures. They were having a grand old time. To, you know, with me as the center of all their laughs. And so it was super fun, but it was late when I fell asleep, mind you.
Yes. Here's the thing. Stacey gets up at like 3 or 4 in the morning. So she fell asleep at like 1:30. So it was basically like a 24-hour.
I almost was up 24 hours.
Yeah, you hung in there.
And so it was super fun. Our husbands had fun playing cards.
Filler bus.
Yeah. And it was a really fun time. The restaurant was delicious and beautiful. But it was just fun to hang out.
Yeah.
And to let loose a little bit and just have fun. And then, of course, I fell asleep. So that was.
And guess what we fell asleep to? Hallmark Christmas movies. I mean, it couldn't have been better. Honestly. It was like the best night.
Yeah. The guys were playing games. We were watching a Hallmark movie in their room because we went back up to their room. Was set at like 50 degrees.
Yes.
So I had to get under the covers. So, of course, I'm going to fall asleep.
It was freezing.
It was so
We
cold.
like it really cold. Like whenever all the time, basically.
Yeah. I literally woke up in like a panic almost, and I was like, feel my nose. Like, it's frozen.
Oh my gosh, we did have it set at 60. But it like gets hot in there. There's a lot of
there was no hotness going on. We're
hot people.
I needed a face mask, clearly. So, but that was such a fun night. If anybody can get away to do that with some really close friends, highly recommend it. So good for the soul.
Even like locally. I mean, we were 15, 20 minutes from.
Yeah, if that. It was amazing, though. It was so fun. Yeah. And 100% we need to make that annual thing. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. So today, we're going to cover
winter blues, how to beat the winter blues. And so we know that we've been sitting here like chipper as can be, Santa's little helpers. But we do realize that Christmas and the holiday season can be really, really tough for some people, and it's not all joyous. We know that Christmas can maybe stir up pain and hurt, maybe some anxiety, some anxious feelings of past traumas or grief. Maybe you've lost a loved one around Christmas time, or even not at Christmas time, and it just brings up those memories
that you met. Yeah, that you met someone.
And so in today's episode, we're gonna kind of be here for you, and kind of walk alongside you and cover a little, touch on some points on how to beat some winter blues.
Just some helpful things on, I mean, coupled with maybe the loss of a loved one or maybe some anxiety. There's less sunlight. There's less daylight in the day. It gets dark. It's cold. You don't really want to go outside. So you don't really set as many plans. It's dark early. So
you get tired earlier, for sure. 100%.
And there's not a lot of sun, especially in the Midwest. There's not a lot of sun. So it's overcast. You just kind of feel like blah. Especially like after the holidays, there's like a ebb and flow of like the holiday is exciting.
Yes. And then all of a sudden you hit this low. Yeah.
And there's like, you feel like maybe there's not a lot to look forward to. So we wanted to cover just a couple things that we thought hopefully would help someone. I mean, just one person would be amazing. Things that we actually do too that help us. I mean, I know that I don't even realize that maybe I'm feeling that way come January. But I'll be like, I haven't really done anything or planned anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I know that I need to like do something to help myself feel better.
So we're just going to kind of give a few pointers or tips or maybe just some food for thought on kind of how to maybe beat the winter blues. And if you're in the midst of them, to maybe just give some ideas on how to kind of go about getting out of those.
Yeah. So one of the things that I was looking into was something that I know that I deal with, and I have friends and family that deal with, which is seasonal affective disorder. And it sometimes interferes with your daily function because of like I mentioned, the daylight hours. So one thing that I was actually looking into, and it's actually can be prescribed by a doctor, or, you can just, I found easy remedies, even on Amazon that are fairly priced, but it's called light therapy.
I've been actually hearing a lot about that lately. I think like it may not be a new thing, but I think it's becoming more popular because it is maybe becoming more affordable for people where it's not break the bank.
There is so many options. That's what's so great is, so basically what you do is every morning you sit in front of a light box for about 30 minutes every morning just to wake up. And it's different than just like shining a lamp in your face. That's not what it is. It's brighter than ordinary like indoor lighting, but it really helps boost your mental faculties waking up, and it helps boost serotonin is what they've discovered. So I actually found a light on Amazon. It was only $39.99.
Oh, that's so doable.
It's called the Verilux Happy Light. And it's something that you can sit on your nightstand or on your vanity, or even if you just want to get it out from under the bed or something every day. But you just sit in front of it, helps you wake up, helps you relax, helps you face the day. You can get up 30 minutes early, drink your coffee, sit at your kitchen table, sit in front of the light, and just kind of like take a couple deep breaths to wake up. Something that will help you I don't know. Like, I think I'm going to try it because I'd be interested to see if there's anyone that has done it or does do it and has had effects from it.
So it's kind of funny that you say it releases serotonin, which makes sense because usually people get addicted to tanning beds.
Yes.
Because it actually releases serotonin in certain things in your brain that causes like a natural high.
Yeah.
So I'm almost wondering if this clearly is like a healthier version.
Yes, obviously you're not going to
you're not going to get tan from it.
You're not going to get tan.
But it's probably a healthier version because tanning beds are not necessarily, very healthy for
right. I remember
skin.
going into the tanning bed, back in the day when I tanned. But I would be like, I just want some like light on my face or something. That's so true.
But it releases those
endorphins. Or I just wanted to warm up.
Yeah.
Feel warm.
Yes.
And that's another thing that the lamp does. Like it makes you feel like a warm, like wake up morning.
I would be so interested in trying that. And I actually listened to a podcast with a doctor on, and they were talking about light therapy.
That's so interesting.
So that's, I think that's a great idea. And especially that you found one for
very reasonably priced. And I mean, there's obviously more expensive versions, but this one had great reviews. And it's something that you use every day. It's an investment piece, plus it's called the Happy Light.
I mean come on.
It's gotta work.
No
right?
brainer.
So another thing that I know that I love to do and has helped me is volunteer work. It's something that kind of takes the focus off yourself. It's a plan in place where it's something that you don't have to make a plan. It's a part of your schedule. You can volunteer at a local shelter. There's also retirement communities. I know now with COVID, you have to wear, I don't know what the protocol is as far as visiting, but I remember being in 8th grade and visiting at the local retirement community for one of our classes. And it was so fulfilling. I mean, just meeting people that don't necessarily always have a visitor. They don't have family close, or they don't have family to come see them. But it's nice to have a conversation with someone and feel like you're both getting something out of it.
100%. So I actually talking about serotonin, volunteering actually does release certain serotonins in your brain that is linked to happiness. So volunteering is like a huge thing that I have always loved. I actually am here. I'm volunteering for the Licking County retirement community. And so last week I actually delivered meals to people. It wasn't Meals on Wheels. It was more like non-perishable items that I delivered. And the people, like the older community, they were so incredibly happy. And one lady like invited me into her house, and she was like giving me stickers for my kids, and like she was so adorable. And she was like, I just need to send my Christmas gifts out because nobody's gonna come see me this year. And I was like, oh, where does your family live? And they live out of state. And it just broke my heart. And I was like, you know what, there's a huge community of people that want interaction, but it's hard for them to get out. And so just visiting with them, and then it's kind of a double-edged sword because it fulfills you, because how can you not be happy when you're serving? Like it's a natural thing as a human being. Like we feel so much happiness when we're actually serving others, because
it benefits both people.
Yes. And then you clearly are benefiting the person that you're serving because they just want somebody to communicate with.
Right.
It is such a fulfilling thing. So volunteering, I love that you touched on that. There's so many different volunteers.
There's so many different ways to volunteer. I mean, you can volunteer at your local church. If you want to volunteer with like the kids, there's always a need.
And it actually boosts your self-esteem too.
Right.
Because you're serving others. So in that, it's kind of like this trickle effect that you're boosting your own self-esteem. Special Olympics, my husband and I have been like really involved, especially in Texas, in Special Olympics, which is I'm going to be honest. So you know when you sign up to volunteer, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to be serving other people, but this community actually served me. Like it was so fulfilling to my heart that it was like I looked forward to going every week. And then we had a guy that we got so close with. And I would pick him up every Thursday just to come and spend time with the family.
That's so fun.
And he became part of our family. Like his name's Duran, and he's the most amazing guy ever. Like we still talk on the phone. Like he is just amazing.
Oh, and you guys, didn't you get to surprise him when you went back to Texas?
Yeah, we did. We showed
fun.
up at his house and surprised him, and he was so happy. I mean, it's so fulfilling for us because it just completes our hearts. Like it was, so it's kind of like you go into this thinking that you're going to be serving others, but really they're serving you. Yeah. Yeah.
Another way that I thought is such a good way to, beat the winter blues and volunteer is if you love animals, the local shelters, are in desperate need of volunteers to help care for the dogs and cats and the animals in the shelters. They need walks. They need just tender love and care. And if you maybe want to get a pet, but you're like feeling it out, that's a great way to meet animals and meet your future family.
Or maybe even if member. You don't have, or maybe you don't have your schedule or room would not allow it, but then you at least get your fix.
You get your fill of taking care of the animals. And I know that we've adopted our last animals from shelters, and it is so the reward of going in there and seeing the animals being cared for by these volunteers and like getting the love that they so desperately need. It's just so precious, and I would love to be able to volunteer and do that, so that's one of the things I was looking at. Shelter work, and I was also looking at, there's a local pregnancy care center that helps young moms or single moms just to get the help, the health services that they need, to anything that they need.
Well, and I think that with that goes hand in hand they need mentorship.
Yeah.
They need somebody who's not going to look down upon them for the situation that they may be in. And
they need help desperately.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Young Life is an Christian organization for teens, but there is a organization that I volunteered at in Texas, and it was called Young Lives. Oh. And so it is the same organization, but it's geared only towards teen moms.
Oh, wow.
So it's these teen moms that get together just as like the normal youth group teens get together, and they get to play games and have fun, but they get to have their babies there.
Oh,
and then there's mentors or volunteers that help watch the babies, and
it really is
about, so they still get to be kids.
I mean, there really needs to be a community surrounding these young moms that have made the decision to have babies. They need help, and I mean, there's definitely a need for that. So there's always ways for you to find your niche in what you
there's
love.
So many. I mean, there's so many
that will benefit you.
Trafficking
and benefit
is another. Like, there's so many needs in our world that everybody, as humans, we're all talented in something. So there's always something we can give our time and energy to.
You can do and to help someone.
Yes,
else, always. No matter what you may think your strengths are, there's always a benefit to helping someone else, and you'll find maybe you'll find a new hobby, talent, who knows,
and then in that, clearly it's benefiting you as well. And so that kind of does help you, because when we're depressed, our serotonin levels are extremely down, so you want to do anything to kind of bring those levels up, which volunteer work completely is a huge kind of natural way to really kind of fight that. So I just think that's I love that you touched on that point for sure. That's it's such an amazing gift that you can give and you can also receive.
Yes, for sure. Another thing it's hard. It's honestly harder for me to do, but I can offer it to someone. Is getting outside. Now, I'm not a workout gal. But there's something to be said about going on a walk, you know, maybe with some headphones or just to like be with nature when you're feeling stressed, or, you know, you need a release, or you need just some sun on your face, or just to see nature. Just getting outside for like a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk, something that can kind of just reset your brain.
I love that too. And so I think that kind of goes along with that is like quiet time. Like, so I think that, and it's really hard to find that, especially for busy people. It's really hard to find that quiet time, but I think that is very therapeutic. Mm-hmm. Maybe it does result into getting a little more rest as far as sleep goes. But for me, I'm not like a big, you know, like I like quiet time, and I don't require that much sleep. So for me, I get up a little early in the morning before everybody else does, and that's kind of my quiet time. So whatever that looks like for somebody's schedule, maybe it's 10 minutes in the car, maybe it's an hour, whatever your body needs. Right. But I think that it's very therapeutic to have that quiet time. Now, quiet time doesn't mean that you necessarily need to be in a room with no noise. Like everybody's quiet time may look a little different, but it's just that time that you can kind of process, because I think it's really important to be able to process our day or what's going on around us, or maybe why we're feeling a little blue, and just to kind of dive into that and kind of work through it. Mm-hmm. So I think that one of my points was quiet time, just to kind of really get into your own area of
determine what you're feeling and why you are feeling it.
It's like, so important to do that, actually. Like, people,
because then you can kind of set a goal.
Yes.
To, if you're like, I'm feeling like this weather, or I'm missing a parent or a spouse or a loved one, or you can really kind of figure out why you're feeling the way that you are. And I think that's very important to determine that.
Well, because otherwise, if you're going to just try to forget about it, you're never going to forget about it. And if you're going to try to bury it, it's always going to resurface. Yes. So to really dive into why you're feeling a certain way, it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's messy sometimes, but it's needed.
Yeah.
And it's so worth it. You know, it may take a little extra time. Sometimes you need to be patient, but it's so worth really diving in and figuring out your feelings on certain things. And it may be really hard, or it may be something like, oh, I know why I feel that way, and that was ridiculous. And or I'm going to work through it, and this is how I'm going to work through it.
Yeah.
And I think what goes hand in hand with that, too, is finding a really close group of people that are encouraging to you. Mm-hmm. So I think it may be one friend, it may be a group of friends, or it may be a partner, or it may be whatever that looks like for you, but everybody needs at least a person that shows them support.
Yes.
I think that is so needed in every aspect. If you're feeling blue or not feeling blue, it's just so needed to have that somebody that you can talk to, somebody that you feel that kind of closeness with. You want to be also surrounded by positive people, because if somebody's sitting there chirping in your ear all these negative things, it's inevitable that you're going to have negative feelings
and
too.
Of course you're going to have friendships where you're not feeling your best and you need an outlet, so you talk to your friends, and you may not be positive all the time, but it's so important to find your people. Your people, just wherever they are,
whatever that may look like,
whether you meet them while you're volunteering, or at church, or at the gym, or
maybe it's somebody that you've like been friends with for forever.
Yeah,
like,
you reconnect with someone, or you know, a spouse. And I know that you have mentioned in the past, but one of the things that we want to encourage specifically is therapy.
Yeah, that was my next point to touch on. It's so.
Why do you think
it has a negative
connotation?
Yes.
I honestly think that anyone could benefit from therapy counseling.
Well, I think that it was put into like our universe that it was like this negative thing. Like if you went to therapy, you clearly had a lot, like you had a lot going on. Like you were weak.
Yeah.
You were like you were maybe crazy. I don't know. Like
which I honestly think it's the opposite. I think that the strongest people seek 100%, therapy.
Like, yeah. 100%. Like that is a bullet point right here that I have. Like it is. I wanted to touch base on that because I think that it's so funny. Like you go to your kids' baseball game or whatever, and nobody, literally, it's like crickets chirp because everybody wants to put on this persona that they're perfect. Yeah. That life is perfect. They're perfect. They got it all together.
Social media is a cause for that too. We always see the best bullet points of somene's life.
Yeah. Like, there's even filters for how you look now.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's crazy. So it's so funny. I think and nobody talks about oh yeah, my therapy session last week was amazing. Like I
that's why I
like learned this and this about myself.
About it because I don't want there to be a stigma.
Like
and it's gonna take a lot of people to kind of break that stigma to like.
I agree with you. I think it's starting to, especially in women. Like I think it's starting to kind of be like, it's okay.
Yeah, people are being more open about that.
Well, I mean, clearly you call to schedule a therapist right now, and they're like, I'm booked up until like next year.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no availability because everybody needs to go.
Yeah. Especially with everything that has been happening the past couple years.
Yes.
With the pandemic.
100%. And I am not just like sitting here saying that. Like I was in therapy for a while. And in fact, my therapist looked at me and she goes, well, I think that you're probably like good now.
You're doing good.
and you probably, like there were just some things that happened in life. And I woke up one day and I was like, you know what? I think that I would really benefit from seeing a therapist.
Yeah.
And I went and
You learned a lot of tools on how to cope with anything that you're feeling.
Yes. And I also learned triggers, like my own triggers, which is so incredibly important. And to know what I'm good at and
because then you can communicate those to your friends and family and
your spouse. Like it was the best. I mean, like honestly, I grew so much during this time period that I want to shoot it from the rooftops. Like everybody, if you're ever feeling like you should seek a therapist, 100%. Like no ands, ifs, buts about it. It was, I mean, I was really disappointed when I was sitting across from her and she goes, Stacey, I mean, you could still come, but I just don't think that it's, you're good. And I was like, really? Are you like sure? Like,
let me keep digging.
Like, are you positive? And she goes, I mean, I think that you broke a lot of ground. Like you have a lot of tools in your tool belt that you can use. And in fact, I'm going to be honest, I have my 7-year-old in therapy right now, not because not for anything negative. Like she is such a feeler and an empath, and she has so many of these emotions that I think it's my duty to be able to equip her with every tool in her tool belt. And so I think her therapist is honestly amazing.
It's so important because there are so many things that stress our kids out now, unnecessary things, and they really need tools to cope. And as parents, there's only so much that we can help them do.
100%.
And so it's nice to seek someone that has your child's best interest and can give them the tools to face the day, to function with school and bullying and homework and the stress that comes with
everything.
Being a kid.
Yes. And so I seeked her out because Willow, she was just diagnosed with dyslexia, and she was just feeling really inadequate about things, like especially her reading. Like I could tell that she was feeling these emotions. And so I thought it would just help kind of put things into perspective for her. She's not a talker. She does not like to talk about her emotions and her feelings whatsoever. But with her therapist, like she looks forward to seeing her. She's like, Mom, when am I going again? And she doesn't go every week. She usually goes every other week or every 3 weeks. And she looks forward to going and seeing her. And it's really actually helped us. We had a little bit of a issue with her and a teacher, kind of just like, it was just not a good fit. And therapy actually really kind of brought that to the surface and really helped us kind of deal with it.
Yeah. And get her the tools that she needed.
It was so beneficial for her.
Yeah.
So I will be the poster child for therapy. I think that it's amazing. It works great. It helps you in so many different aspects of your life, like just to be able to sort things out and deal with things. Now, finding a therapist can be kind of tricky as far as you always want to find somebody who's a good fit. You don't want, it's not just you're going to go and sit in someone's office and it's not always going to be, it is a relationship that you're going to have. So it's not always this great fit. So it's not saying that just because you're going to this person.
Like maybe you don't feel like you're getting something out of it, or you feel like it's not a good fit. There's nothing wrong with finding
a new therapist.
Someone.
You're just saying it's not a good fit, and so you're going to move on. Yeah. It's your time and money, so you should be able to find somebody who works really well for you. I have found it beneficial. I found mine through somebody who I trust and word of mouth. So I thought it was a lady who had kind of, I felt, been going through kind of a similar situation that I was, and so that is how I found mine. But there are so many different ways. Like church, I would seek out some advice from counselors at church or the pastor. Mm-hmm. And then if there's any, you could always even search on Google, but just make sure that they're really trusted sites that kind of have good ratings. And then also sometimes your insurance provider will at least give you a list of people that if they do cover, that they'll cover, and then you can kind of go through and kind of check off the list then if you feel like they're a good fit or not by calling. It's just kind of like finding a doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can tell by that, by calling people and whatnot. But for sure, I think therapy is just an amazing tool for sure.
Do you have any other things that you would recommend for beating the winter blues or help beating the winter blues?
So mine was really just, I really just think that we all need to get really kind of in tuned with maybe the underlying problem.
Yeah.
So that was kind of where I felt that would be the most beneficial was, and maybe it's not as extensive as losing a loved one or something like that. Maybe it's just,
I think the most important thing is just remember to be patient with yourself, because it's not going to you're not going to suddenly snap out of it. It's something that's going to be a gradual mood improvement. So I'm not saying that one day of sitting in front of a light or one day volunteering or one counseling session is going to make the difference, but you just really need to be patient with the process.
Oh, 100%.
Keep at it like you would with anything.
And maybe even set goals.
Yeah.
Set goals okay, well, I'm going to at least
make it a part of your routine.
Take 30 minutes today or 30 minutes this week even. Start gradual.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take some time for myself, or I'm going to dive into this, or I'm going to journal. I think journaling is a great tool to kind of sort out your feelings.
Yeah.
I've gone back and I'm a huge journaler. So especially when I'm feeling emotional about something. So I've gone back and read my journals and I'm like, that makes zero sense. But at the time, it felt good just to get it out.
Yeah.
It literally felt good just to be able to put it on to something. If it's talking to somebody, if it's putting it on paper, whatever it looks like for you, just to be able to get that out there so you can deal with it. Mm-hmm. Because when you keep it bottled up, it's just stirring. It's still stirring. So it's just getting it out, whatever that looks like.
And you don't have to share your journal with anyone. It's just a personal
No, my
thing.
journal is 100% just for me. Nobody has to read that at all.
So we just wanted to kind of give you some pointers, or maybe challenge you to look and see if you're maybe feeling sadness for the winter. Obviously the winter is when we most feel it.
Yes.
When the summer
the weather
comes, the weather, vacations, all of those
things. It stirs up other feelings too. It stirs up a lot of things. And I think that our point is we just wanted to not be sit here and be like a holiday.
Yeah, everything's not sunshine and roses all the time. So
we just wanted to be.
We wanted to address the other issues that maybe people are feeling during the holidays or the winter months.
And really relate to you and just kind of put some positive vibes out there and some tools to be able to maybe use if you are feeling a little under the weather.
Right. So those were some of our ideas, and you can do with those what you will. But hopefully you heard us and took away anything. Yeah. So
now it's time for Just the Tip.
Okay, so following in line with what we were talking about, my Just the Tip is to give your skin some TLC.
Mm-hmm.
So,
plus on that, when we feel like we look good or we feel like
when we take
refreshed,
when we take time for ourselves, it really boosts our confidence.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
which then is a whole nother ballgame. Yeah, like mentally.
So with winter and the seasons changing, humidity levels plummet and the temperatures plummet, and the cold air and the dry air take effect on your skin, your body, your face, everything. So it's a really good time to reevaluate your skincare. I know that in the winter months, I'm an oily person, but in the winter months, I need a lot of moisture. I usually switch up my night cream and get something with a lot of moisture. I also tend to use a body scrub in the shower once or twice a week. Exfoliate.
Yeah, all that
and then after I get out of the shower, lotion every day. I just don't like the feeling of dry skin. And like cracked skin and like your cuticles, everything is so dry. So
is there a lotion that you prefer, or like a cream, like a body, like for your body?
There's a couple things that I would recommend as far as good boosters for extra hydration, something new to add to your skin, and that is for your face, retinol. I have 3 favorites here. They're spendy to drugstore price. But what retinol does is it helps with collagen, boosts collagen. It helps with fine lines and wrinkles. It helps add added hydration to your face, and it helps to really build up the loss of elasticity in your face.
Do you think people are afraid of retinol?
I think that people don't really know what it does.
Okay, because in my mind, I guess I used to think of it as like this acne, and I could be getting things confused. I don't know.
So there are products that have retinol in them that are equated with acne, but retinol specifically is used for anti-aging. And what I recommend is, if you are going to be adding a retinol to your skincare, is along with that, make sure you're using SPF, because it does make your skin a little bit more sensitive. Start out using maybe once a week.
The
retinol.
So it's not something you don't use every day.
You don't have to use it every day. Use it at nighttime, because that's when it works best. When you are sleeping, your skin is regenerating and all of the good things are happening. So at nighttime, you really want to take good care of your skin. Use retinol at night and start out maybe once a week, then go maybe 2 or 3 times a week. I do mine every other night. I do have oily skin, but it is a little sensitive. So if I do every night, it can
be a bit much.
Yeah, a lot. Because it does help with sloughing off dead skin cells. It helps all of those. It's all of the things. So I use retinol every other night. And I use that underneath my serums and my moisturizer. Now for skincare, I do have a lot of body lotions and body scrubs that I would recommend. They are from the spendier option to the drugstore option. I always like to include everybody, because I want you to know that there are options for any price point. And so I would recommend a body scrub in the shower 2 to 3 times a week, along with a nice moisturizer, a thick body cream. Think body creams. Those are thicker and have more hydration. So just give your skin some tender loving care this winter.
I think that's a great tip. So my just the tip is about packing, because a lot of people travel for the holidays, including us. We travel after the holidays. We always do a family vacation we leave right after Christmas. And so I am like I pack a lot. Like I like
you overpack. Are you like one of those?
I'm a notorious overpacker.
You're gone for 5 days, but you pack 10
outfits.
Of underwear.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely pack way more underwear than what I should. But I pack a lot because I like to have options and I like to have different outfits. So my just the tip is a couple things. To really kind of, you could use like a bodysuit, and you could pack a pair of jeans to wear with the bodysuit, and then maybe a skirt. So you can kind of wear something twice.
Yes.
Or jeans, of course. You could pack like 2 sweaters to wear with one pair of jeans.
And jeans, do jeans ever who washes jeans? Do we wash jeans every time we wear them?
Do you know, I actually saw a special. It was like a fashion. It was completely geared towards fashion. And they said there's one guy doesn't wash his jeans at all. He's some designer. I can't remember who it was. And he puts them in the freezer instead, which is a little strange, but I thought it was interesting. I don't know. If anybody wants to dig on that.
I'm so putting a giant pair of jeans in the freezer. There is something to that. When you wash jeans and then you go to put them on, you're like, these shrunk.
Yeah.
These are way too small.
So that's what he does. But anyway, that's just a side note. So to kind of use multiple items more than once, but just switch it out so it looks like a completely different outfit. Also, leggings, aka the Spanx leggings, are amazing. They literally take up no room, and you could throw that on with like a sweater, a jean jacket,
dress it up, dress it down.
Yeah. Like they are amazing to pack with. And then
and it's really all about comfort.
Yes.
When you're traveling.
My husband actually kind of got me hooked on this, and I know his dad does it or did it. I don't know if he still does. His parents travel all the time. But so he lays all of his clothes out, like all of his outfits out on top of each other, and then they roll them, and it actually saves tons and tons and tons of room. So you could roll it into one big roll. Okay. Or you could do individual items.
Okay.
But it saves so much room in your luggage. And that I thought was a very helpful tip.
That is a great
Which
idea.
I have adopted for years now, since I've been with my husband for a very long time.
Yes.
So it was, always thought that was a nifty diffy little tip.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So we're gonna bring this to a close. We're still learning. Listen, we are still learning and growing with this podcast.
Yeah.
Right? We're
growing as individuals.
We're trying to take our cues from our producer, who is my husband.
Yeah. And he shakes his head. I wish you guys could see him.
Yeah.
He shakes his head at us.
Distracting. Okay.
99% of the time, or he tries to do things that are funny. And I'm like ADD, so I'm like looking at him and trying to talk at the same time. It doesn't always work out for me very well.
We want you to contact us. Be in contact with us and interact with us, and we want you to send us
we'd love to hear from you
ideas. Yes, we love to hear from you, so please, if you can, you can find everything that we talked about
on our Instagram
on the podcast today. On our Instagram, Pushing Pause Podcast.
You can email us at pushingpausepodcast@gmail. And honestly, we would love to hear things that you've tried.
Yeah. Or if you have any additional ideas.
Yes. Yeah. We would love to just hear anything from you. Like, I would love you guys to talk about this. I would love you to elaborate on this. Like anything and everything. We just really want to interact with you guys. Yeah. We appreciate you listening so much. And so we really just want to be there for you and really take any tips, tricks, and anything.
Yeah. Anything you got. You can also find us on YouTube at Pushing Pause Podcast. We're going to be posting some videos, and we're going to be doing some out in the public situations where we're maybe looking at an antique store
where we pretty much look like maybe idiots, but I don't know. I don't know. It'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll at least get entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Another thing I wanted to mention was if you just going back to beating the winter blues and maybe you're feeling really sad or depressed or there's no one that you can talk to. If you have any thoughts of harming yourself or harming others, there's help available for you. There's always someone there to answer your call. And that's the number's 1-800-273-8255. So please reach out if you need help or reach out to us. We're always there too. So unpause until the next time.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.